it is basically impossible to trust video game companies. They show off their titles, they make all of these big promises, and then when it finally comes time for it to launch, it is a complete and utter disaster. They will promise you the world and give you slop. And when it comes to Perfect Dark, I know a lot of people have a lot of love and nostalgia for Joanna and this story, and they wanted the remake to come out and for it to be really solid. And there were some individuals that were heartbroken when we heard just a few days ago that this game was canceled. I personally wasn't, just because we had only seen such a limited amount of the gameplay and kind of the world, but now we're finding out that it was basically all fake. So a level designer for the Perfect Dark reboot has responded to claims that the gameplay reveal from the 2024 Xbox showcase was basically fake. Perfect Dark developer The Initiative was shut down as part of the ongoing mass layoffs in Microsoft's gaming division that began on July 2nd, 2025, and the game is now officially canceled. The Initiative was founded in 2018, and Perfect Dark was set to be the fledgling studio's debut project. Why would you ever work with a debut studio on something as big as Perfect Dark? That makes absolutely no sense to me. But second of all, you would think that for something like Perfect Dark, they would want to make sure that that would be a project that wouldn't be canceled because it's such a big name. Maybe these companies are finally realizing that constantly pumping out remakes and reboots and remasters isn't always going to be a sound strategy, or maybe they just figure we have 18 better games in the works that are going to be more successful, so I guess we have to can this. Either way, though, it's definitely not a good look for Microsoft or The Initiative, and especially now when we're finding out that apparently this was all just basically faked. So in a post, Kotaku reporter Ethan Gotch shared on Blue Sky, just an absolute slop of a sentence, a source that spoke to him after the Xbox showcase in 2024 said the Perfect Dark gameplay trailer was basically fake. When asked to define what he meant by fake, Gotch said that the gameplay slice shown off in the Perfect Dark trailer was not indicative of the level of progress perceived to have been made on the game, which is not even that shocking anymore, because if you are putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a game and it ends up being negatively received, you've just wasted all of that money. So I think that this is going to be a new trend in the industry, a very bad one, but a new trend nonetheless, where companies will announce like 18, let's say for argument's sake, major things a year. They'll announce all of these big games and then gauge reaction. And then from there, maybe a year later, right, they'll sit down and say, okay, X, Y, and Z trailers were all received positively. Let's greenlight those. And then the ones that people didn't like, the ones that were ratioed, the ones that faced backlash, we're just going to cut those. We'll just let them fade into the abyss. Or if people keep asking, we'll just say the project's never turned out to be a thing. And I think that that is a very dangerous strategy on their part, but one that I think they're going to barrel forward with. It's dangerous because then we're going to be getting everything announced. We're going to be getting remakes, remasters, new franchises. There's going to be so many promises that they don't intend to keep. And with our trust being so low with these companies and developers, I just think that that is only going to continue to damage their reputation. But hearing that this was all basically fake is just, it is sad to a certain extent. But at the same time, because we only saw such a small slice of it, I can't sit here and shed a tear, because I can't get very excited for games now when you see 10 or 15 seconds of gameplay, or you see a 1-minute CGI trailer. Like, I have to see a lot, because we get promised a lot and then they completely underdeliver. The former Perfect Dark level designer, McDonald, has responded to the controversy surrounding the gameplay trailer and explained which aspects of the Perfect Dark trailer were real and which were fake. According to McDonald, in a series of posts on Blue Sky, Perfect Dark had a real demo but worked best if you played it the way the person playing it in the video plays it. The real gameplay system shown off worked just enough to look good in the video. The parkour is real, the hacking hacking and deception is mostly real. The combat itself is, in quotes, real, but it's set up to be played exactly that way. He goes on to explain that the team made decisions to avoid intentionally lying to players about the game state. That sounds terrible, in my opinion. There's absolutely no way that I would have any trust or faith in them after this statement if they ended up surviving. McDonald was responding to controversy surrounding the game's now only gameplay trailer after the claim that it was totally faked started to spread. Though the trailer was not entirely faked, he does admit that there was some fake stuff in it and detailed the specifics. This just sounds terrible, in my opinion, that they thought that this was going to be good, that they thought that they could just like finagle a trailer together and maybe judge people's initial reactions, and it is just not a good look all around at all whatsoever. This is why our trust in companies and journalists and just people in the industry in general is at an all-time low. I don't think we're going to be getting any other updates on this because Perfect Dark has been canceled, the initiative is being shut down, and the massive wave of layoffs have already happened, but I'll be definitely checking forums to see if any other developers come out and make any other statements, though it's not good as a Perfect Dark fan, and it seems like, unfortunately, we're never going to get another Perfect Dark again. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.